So to transform in anything, and in particular, I think in real estate, to learn how to build a business, you need three things. One thing you need is a leader, a coach, or a mentor. Another is a system, a process, a book, or methodology. And a third's a community. And somebody here who provides all three and has been very successful at helping people, I think, go from zero to one and more in building their real estate wealth and income is Sam Sadat with Sam's Real Estate Club. Sam, thank you so much for taking time with us today.
Well, thank you, Bill. I always like to chat with you and learn from you. You're very wise and very knowledgeable. So I know we bump into each other a couple of times every month here and there at networking events. So it's I'm happy to be here.
Well, if you say I'm wise, I think that's a nice way of saying I'm older than you. So that's okay. I'll let that
Nah,
go.
nah, 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 not at all, not at all. I think old, has a lot of benefits too, and I've noticed that. I've become more compassionate. I've become more patient. I've become more, at ease with the universe and what's going on. It's all around. You lose some of your abilities, especially physical abilities, as I'm
Mhm,
sure you have noticed to some extent. But as far as mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, I'm a lot
mhm.
better.
Well, I think a part of it is with age comes perspective, right? And so, a market like this, where we're all surrounded with negativity and people are struggling, at the same time, some people, I'm one of them who's doing really well despite all that, and you're another one. You're launched a new program this year, and you have people who are having great success, and that is, I think, because the perspective you have that you bring to business. So let's talk a little bit kind of about your journey and how you earned that perspective. How did you start out in investing in real estate?
Probably when I finished my education at the University of Texas in Austin,
Mm,
I moved to California and got a job as an engineer at, believe it or not, Mattel Corporation, the toy company.
hmm.
I worked in the R&D department, research and development. So it
Oh,
was a lot of fun, but I soon realized that that's not me. I'm not going to just be sitting over there and playing with things and designing things and testing things. And I wanted something more, something better. So as a result, I kind of left, much to my father's chagrin. I left the industry and I said, "Ooh, I'm going to try real estate." So I got into real estate. I started my first company. I think it was in the 80s. My mortgage company, because I like numbers and I like to play with numbers, and my background. So it was kind of natural. So I did that, and it was very successful. The interest rates, you probably remember, in the 80s, they were like 12, 13%. People are complaining about 6% right now, but they forget that at one point we had really high interest rates.
right.
It was insane. I used to refi people from 17 or 18% to like 14%, and they were jumping for joy.
Right.
Of course, there is one big difference. Back then, the average price of LA properties were like maybe $200,000, and today
Yep.
it's like $800,000. I mean,
Yep.
it's just, I mean, the numbers are astronomical. I mean, you go out there and get a loan, $1 million loan at like 7%, and your payment's like $8,000 a month, and that's crazy, these prices. But anyway, soon afterwards, I did my first deal. It was a subject to, I never forget. It was a subject to, I think they had a loan with not the FHA, but maybe it was FHA. So it was an FHA. I bought a condo in Northridge, and I put no money down. I just took over the loan, and I paid some money, maybe a couple of $1,000s to the seller, and that was it. So after that, I basically sold that, and I did another property, again subject to, in Granada Hills. But then I realized, hey, this is a lot of fun. I mean, you really, real estate is so much fun, in a sense that you really don't have to have a lot of money to get involved. And a lot of people forget that. A lot of people think you should have a lot of money. Last night at our meeting at our mixer in Santa Monica, one of our students got up and talked about how they just completed a purchase of a property near San Vicente and Fairfax, which I'm sure you're familiar with the
Hmm.
area, and
Hmm.
it's a good area. They just bought a 3-bedroom, 3-bath house, which is worth about 1.8 million as is. They just bought it for 1.4 million.
Wow.
They took the subject to 400,000 first lien, senior lien. They took that at 2.8%, and $1 million. The owner of the property, the seller, carried back for 25 years at zero interest rate.
These are the opportunities, so thank you for sharing the background, but I think this, and you and I both see, these are the opportunities in front of us here for the next period of time, that as on one hand, one person's problem, interest rates are higher than they were 6 months ago, is another person's opportunity, because you have people who have rates on their loans that they got 2 years ago that are available, but they want to sell the property. So the
Right.
subject to is an area that I think both requires expertise and knowledge, but creates really opportunity for people for impressive business. So that's you kind of give us your story on your investment. When did you start teaching other people, and when did that become an
Right.
important part of your business?
Right after that, I mean, I started buying. I bought a nice property in Sherman Oaks, which was a 6-unit apartment building, really nice, just south of the boulevard in Sherman Oaks.
Mm.
I bought a beautiful home in Santa Monica, north of Montana, which was really nice. And I was starting to put things together, and then all of a sudden, the Northridge earthquake hit back on January 17th, 1994. I don't know if you were in LA, but I had experienced multiple earthquakes before that, and nothing really happened to our property. But this one was something, scared the shit out of me, destroyed our property in Santa Monica. I got red tag, destroyed my property. It was 6 units in Sherman Oaks, which was,
Wow.
only had maybe $250,000 left on it. And anyways, both of them got red tagged. We got kicked out of our property. All my lines of credit, everything else, the lenders froze them. They put us in a really, really bad spot. I did not have an earthquake insurance.
Wow.
So, we moved out to Colorado with my family. I took a 6-month sabbatical in the Rockies, which was absolutely fantastic. Got my life back together again, put everything in perspective. Got back to to civilization, so to speak, with my family. I started a real estate company over there, a mortgage company, and soon it took off. We had like 40 people, and we did a lot of business. We were number one, or one of the top 5 producers with Countrywide, with Money Store. You probably remember Washington
Mm-hmm.
Mutual.
Mm-hmm.
So we did a lot of business back then. And then when I built that company, I basically sold it to a couple of partners, came back to California. And that's when we started, buying, syndicating apartment buildings.
Wow.
So those have been really nice, because those syndications, it wasn't just my money. Other people came in, as bought these properties. They're all in LA. And as a result, I just kind of like gave up landlording, because it is not easy. As landlording is tough. We have a professional property manager, manages all of the properties, and it's nice, and it's been fun. I think when I wrote my book, I wrote the book Free and Clear for consumers to understand the mortgage business, and really get and figure out how they're actually mortgage companies and banks make money.
Right.
The book was written in a way that it will give people the knowledge that the brokers and the banks make money with back-end points, yield spread premium, service release premium, all the hidden costs of getting the mortgage, and give them the ability to be able to negotiate better loans. So I wrote that book, and then I started my club in LA on May 3rd of 2003. So it's been over
20 years, over 20 years. Wow.
over 20 years. So the club has been going strong, Sam's Real Estate Club. And then, as you probably know, in July of this year, we started the second club in the San Gabriel Valley, to be exact, in West Covina.
Mm-hmm.
And Lloyd was our first speaker. I asked him to come, and he came. We had 120 people. The first
Wow.
meeting, I know. And since then, we've been averaging about 85, to 90 people.
That's fantastic.
And it's just a few months, and it's been amazing. I really think if I do a better job of marketing, we can have that club soon to bring in 150 to 200 people, because there is a lot more potential
Yeah.
outside of Los Angeles,
Yeah.
because LA has been saturated with a lot of knowledge. People have things to do every night of the week in LA. I'm talking about closer to city and Santa Monica, the West Side, and all. In the areas like where we are, life is a bit slower, and people don't have as much to do. There's more family orientation. So I find that people are also a lot more, they're thirstier, they're hungry for knowledge. So that's the difference. The difference. So it's been really good. I love education and teaching, and you know that. I mean, you're a good teacher yourself.
Thanks.
It gives me a good sense of satisfaction when other people learn how to do real estate the right way.
Mhm.
And also, I found that when you teach, you also reinforce your knowledge in yourself. You
Yeah.
become better, and you're able to grasp the concept a lot better, and therefore be able to apply it. So it's been a really gratifying experience for me.
Just a little quick housekeeping. This is the official podcast of the LA County Real Estate Investors Association. The website, a little shortcut, lareic.com, for Los Angeles Real Estate Investment Club.com. And this program has a live event on the second Thursday of the month in Los Angeles. We get about 250 people. Usually Sam's team is there. Sometimes Sam, sometimes people on his team, but he has a booth there to learn about his program. We have about 250 guests that come. And there's always a great speaker. And the upcoming speaker is going to be about out-of-state investing. There's always some great material going on. So it's always the second Thursday of the month at the Iman Center, Iman Cultural Center on Motor Avenue in the Palms area. Go to the website, lareic.com, hit register here, and you can sign up for the free event. About 250 people there, 50 vendors. I'm one of them. I'm the live podcaster. I'm there every month, basically. And our guest today is Sam Sadat, samsrealestateclub.com, samsrealestateclub.com. There's a handsome guy up front there, all dressed up. And so Sam's Club is a 20-year-old program, as he mentioned, education, networking, and I think also that he leaves out his mentorship, that you get a personal relationship with Sam, and he has a great track record of helping people who are looking to get started into business. And he has different programs and different levels and different resources available. So check that out. Talk to them about finding the right program for you. This isn't about me. I don't get paid for any of this. This isn't about Sam even making money so much on the coaching as it is developing people who are successful so we all play together and all have more success. So we talked a little bit. We started getting into it, and I cut us off because I wanted to record this. If you watch the news, God forbid, I haven't had cable TV since my daughter was born 26 years ago. So I haven't watched a cable news broadcast in that time period. I would never watch the news. Now, of course, online I check out news, and particularly real estate. But even the real estate news, if you just follow the real estate news, you would think that the market's crashing, that housing prices are dropping, that you can't get loans, you can't sell property. Yet, as a practitioner every day, I close escrows, I hold open houses, we get 10, 20 people, we get multiple offers. So I know there's business going on. Here we are in December getting ready for 2024. What do you see as the perils and or opportunities for investors in the upcoming year?
Um, one of the biggest barriers of entry to, in LA is the price right now. A lot of people are just having a difficult time getting into the market,
Mm-hmm.
Especially because the loans out there right now, the interest rates are high, as you know. And if somebody wants to get a so-called stated income, do you remember those ninja loans? No
Yeah,
income, no job, no
yeah,
assets back in the
yeah,
day, in the
yeah,
subprime market in
yeah,
2004, 5, 6, 7, 8, right before
yeah.
we crashed. I was sharing some information with some of my friends, and they were shocked about what was going on back then in like right before the crash, 2006 or 7. I'd see people that virtually have very little money. Their income is virtually nothing, and they own like 3 or 4 properties, income properties. And I asked them, how did you get it? Oh, well, nothing. I mean, we just no money down. But that's why we call them no ninja loans, no income, no job, no assets loans. They would buy these properties and they walk away at closing with money in their pocket. So in other words, it was beyond the 100% LTV. A lot of times it was 110, 115, 125%. You remember those loans. And then the brokers would walk away with 10, 20, 30, $30,000 in broker's fee. I mean, you knew the market was going to crash. And that, I think, is never going to happen again. The stated income programs we've got right now, they're a lot tougher. And the interest rates are like 8.5%. Average median price in LA is what, about $800,000 right now. It's not easy for people right now to get into the business, especially if you don't have a lot of money, because in this market, the only way you can really make money if you don't have any money is either wholesale properties, which, by the way, we got a really good wholesale division being run by Franco, one of our youngest investors.
Mhm.
And the concept of wholesaling, I'm sure, Bill, you're familiar with. You put a property under contract and then you assign your contract to someone else, like
Mhm.
typically a flipper, walk
Mhm.
away with 10, 15, $20,000. That approach is available for people that don't have any money. But if you,
That
yeah,
let's just stop there for 1 second, because I mean I know your wealth of knowledge, and we want to firehouse people watching. A lot of people watching here are looking to get started either
right,
as a side gig or a career. And I think you said is so valuable, and I just want to repeat it, that if you don't have any money, the place to get started is not using your money, but wholesaling. You get a property under contract. You often need a minimum amount to get under contract. You might need $1,000, $500, a couple of $1,000s. There are people who will lend you that money. That's called gator lending, to use Pace Morby's term. And so you can find somebody who you want to bring a deal to put that initial money down. And that's something that Sam can help you find. But if you don't have money, that's the strategy to get started, to get some deals and to get some experience, would be wholesaling. And so let's go back a little bit. Do you teach people who are starting out how to get into wholesaling? Is that a program or a system or methodology that somebody can come
right.
to you and learn?
Right. We have a wholesaling manual right now, which we make it available to our VIP students, level
Mm-hmm.
2 and level 3.
Mm-hmm.
And the manual, along with the training that we have with Franco, will basically teach them everything A to Z of locating the property, analyzing the property to make sure that the property is in fact a viable deal, and then putting it on the contract, how to get the seller's consent, to your assignment, because we do everything above board. There is no double closing. There is no, hanky panky going on. None of that stuff. It's
Mm-hmm.
strictly above board, meaning that, the seller exactly knows what's going on. The agent representing the seller knows what's going on. Typically, these types of properties, Bill, are not the properties that are suitable for end users. Okay, because end
Right.
users want to go into a property that is already fixed up. They don't want to spend any more money. They're professionals buying these 1.5, 2, $3 million. My son just recently bought a property. I asked him, I said, "Hey, you want to buy a property that needs work?" He says, "Dad, no." He's an attorney, and he says, "I make more money taking care of my business. I don't have the time to
Right.
go and deal with these contractors, and I
Right.
don't know anything about. So I'd
Right.
rather pay more, buy a property that is already done, nicely fixed up," which that's what he did. So the types of properties that we're talking about for wholesaling, they're typically distressed. Either the owner is distressed because they're under financial pressure, or the property is distressed. It needs a lot of work. It needs to be updated. Usually they have issues. Some of them are just not even going to qualify for a conventional loan. So that's why these types of people ask me, "Sean, why would anybody want to sell a property wholesale? They would just put it on the market and sell it." They're sellers are motivated by different things that we might not even think it's possible. I know sellers do not want to list their properties because they do not want strangers to come into their property and walk all over. I mean, some people are
Mm.
like that. Other
Mm.
sellers, the properties, they have issues. They don't want to go into a scenario with the end user that they get an inspection report. They have like 200 list of 200 different items that have to be fixed. They don't want to deal with that. They rather
Right.
sell it to an investor. So there are different motivations for sellers out there. So don't limit yourself to the concept of, "Oh wow, I think it's going to be hard because everybody would list their properties and get the top of the market price." That is not the case. I shared with you a little bit about the guy who just bought a property in a nice area of LA, in a subject to scenario. So because of that, the opportunity is tremendous for these people that want to get started. But I always tell them it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be like these so-called gurus. I'm sure you know some of them. Oh yeah, give me $50,000 and I'll teach you everything and you're going to be a millionaire overnight. There is no such reality.
Right.
Life is difficult, as we all know. We all have to pay a price. But I tell you this, if you're determined to pay the price, if you're determined to get on the phone, make contacts, plant the seeds, nurture your seeds, follow up with them over a long period of time, 4, 5, 6 months, a year, and two, they produce results. You will get invariably your energy that goes out there into the universe is going to have to come back. There is no such reality as sowing, as planting the seeds and not being able to sow your rewards. That's just against the law of the universe. Okay. So you go out there, make the calls. Yeah, you're going to find some of these wholesale deals. You're going to find sellers that are absolutely motivated to let you list the property, and they have no problem with you assigning it with somebody else. And they sign the consent as long as your profit is not unconscionable, with 20, 30, $50,000, they don't have any problem. You sold the property, they're going to get their money, they're going to be happy. And like you said, the amount of money for the earnest money deposit can be very little. You can ask a friend to come in and put the money down. In many cases, our wholesalers don't even put any money down. They have 3 days to bring in the deposit, and within that 3 days they have a flipper with the money that is going to put the deposit in escrow. So it's just like literally you can get into the business with very little or no money at all. Okay, even in LA.
Well, one thing you said that I often, in my coaching talk about, people say, what's the easiest way to blank, blank, blank? I said, I don't know. Like my whole life, I've not done the easy thing.
Yeah,
I
right.
think that anything worthwhile is worth putting in the effort. And so when you talk about wholesaling, what I like about it is it's a lower profit per transaction, higher volume. And so when you're new in the business, I think the more volume, each deal you should be learning. You meet new people, you see new obstacles, you work through new problems. And so to me, I feel like yes, it's hard work, but what I do is hard work. You know what people ask me, what's the easy way to get started in probate? I don't know. I didn't do the easy way. I did the best way to be productive and to create value and to get fulfillment out of my business. And
Right.
so I hope those people who are listening to you understand that this is about rolling up your sleeves, getting to work. And if you do the work over time, you can build a great income and or build some fantastic wealth.
Right,
So
right. Well said. I mean, listen, the reality of life, I tried when I was younger to take the easy way out and do the shortcuts, and ultimately every shortcut that I took ended up to be a long cut. Okay.
yes,
I realized, as I'm sure you have, some people realize it sooner than others. I may have not realized it as quickly as I should have, but we do realize ultimately only maybe 1 or 2% of the people that they have the so-called the Midas touch, that wherever they touch, they're in the right place at the right time. The most of us, overwhelming majority of the people, 95% plus, like you, me, and the rest of us, they really have to pay the price and work hard to get the money. If you don't, you won't get it.
yes,
I
yeah,
don't care how much money you pay these gurus that come from Florida and know nothing about Southern California. You pay them $50,000 thinking you're going to be rich tomorrow. That is not going to happen. That's what we talked about last night. You
yeah,
don't have to pay that kind of money. You can go to Bill, listen to podcasts from Bill, myself, Lloyd, and so many others locally that give you basic knowledge to get started, and it doesn't cost nearly as much. What's lacking in most cases is not the knowledge. Okay, it's just that the people want to take the easy way out. They do not want to get on the phone. They do not want to make the calls. They do not want to go out there and talk to people. They just don't want to do the hard things. And if you don't do them, it's not going to happen.
yeah, definitely. That's the key is doing the things. If you do the things other people don't want to do, then you will enjoy the things that other people don't get to do, and
Yeah.
that's the benefit
And it
of
will
life.
pay off ultimately. Every one of the people, every person that I've known that have paid the price and got on the phone and made the calls, ultimately over a long period of time, they're successful. They make money.
Yeah.
Okay, there's no secret. The inflow equals outflow. outflow equals inflow. You put out the energy, you're going to get it back. You make the calls, you follow up, you're going to get a deal. And the deal you make, like the one I told you about with our friend last night. I mean, look at what he got: $1.8 million property that he bought near San Vicente and Fairfax in LA, worth 1.5 million. It's a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,200 square feet home, 7,000 square feet lot. Okay, he bought it at 1.4 million. The loan subject to, it took the loan subject to, bought the property subject to the existing loan of $450,000 with a 2.8% for 30 years. And then the owner carried the second for $1 million at 0% interest for 25 years. I mean, and he worked, you know how long it took him to materialize the deal with the seller? 8 years. He stayed in touch with them for 8 years. Okay. And finally the day come and the lady says, I'm ready to downsize. I want to buy another property. I've got multiple properties. What's your offer? And he goes in there and says, this is my offer. And she says, okay. Boom.
So how much money out of his pocket did he put into the property?
My friend, nothing. Zero.
What's his positive cash flow monthly?
Right now, he can rent that property for about, let's say, maybe $6,000. And his outgo, PITI on the first and the second together are about $4,000. So with zero money down, he's got a property that is producing about $2,000 a month income. This is what we call an infinite return on investment. Okay, you have zero into the property, you're getting $2,000. Any number divided by zero, as you know, Bill, produces an infinity. So clearly, a situation like that, is it? I mean, did it happen overnight?
How many of those deals would you do? As many as you can.
As many as you can.
Exactly. But it takes time to put them together. And I think the thing that surprises people, you said 8 years. I've seen statistical analysis of companies that do lead generation and have data, and the average time from a new lead to closing on average is 2 years. Now that means half or less than 2 years.
Yeah.
Half or more than 2 years.
Yeah.
And so when you are in business, you have to decide, do you want to throw away half the business by not keeping in touch with people for 2 years or more?
And it is so important what you just said, losing touch with me. Follow up, I have found, with my friend Arturo, who does the profitable partnership with distressed homeowners. His strategy is awesome. He was speaking at my club, at our club, and we had a workshop and lots of people at his workshop. His strategy is awesome, very ethical, helping people in foreclosure. Again, with him, he told me everybody that I know, and even with my own deals, that I have noticed the most important element of making something happen is not the first call, is not the second call, is the follow-up. The follow-up that comes after it, 2 months later, 6 months later, a year later, year and a half later, 2 years later, and boom, something happens. Okay, you cannot just expect to get your deal as soon as you pick up the phone and call. No. All of us have to work hard at it, and that's the reality.
Well, you can expect it, but here's what I'm going to tell you. You're not going to be successful in the long run if that's what you're working on, because the business is helping people, it's being available, it's being in touch with them, and it often takes longer than a year or two, in this case 8 years. I've done transactions too with people who I've known for 5-7 years or longer, who I didn't know they were staying in touch with me. I was just sending out emails to everybody. I would call, leave a message. Next thing you know, they call me up and want to sell a property. So Sam, if somebody was interested in getting started with you, what would be the first next step?
I would say just come and check us out at one of our events. We have 2 months, every month, every quarter, on the first Wednesday of each month. We have a Zoom meeting for the first 2 months of every quarter. Let's say January, February, we're going to have a Zoom. And in March, we're going to have a mixer in Santa Monica, in the penthouse of our building in Santa Monica, which is beautiful, like where we were last night. So that's going to be the mixer. Definitely they can attend those. And the other one in West Covina, for those of you who are outside of LA, maybe east of Los Angeles, if you're interested, we've got on the third Thursday of each month, We've got meetings in West Covina at the Holiday Inn in West Covina, and we're averaging, as I told you before, roughly about 85 people, and we just started that one only about 4 or 5 months ago, and it's producing a lot of results. Come in. These events don't cost much. Most of them are free. Come in, pick up a little bit of information and see if it indicates to you, see if it sort of a thing that appeals to you. And if real estate is the right thing for you, then obviously the next thing you're going to do, as Bill mentioned, sign up for a membership. The membership in our club is very inexpensive. We'll teach you the wholesaling, the fix and flip scenarios, buy and hold scenarios. And it's basically going to get you to a point and there's no more upsell to a 50, 60, 70,000 or any that crap. It's like anywhere between 600 to like 3,500 one time, and boom, you get the necessary knowledge to basically decide, is this something for me? Is this something that I want to do? Is this something I want to pursue? And if not, then don't waste your time. I tell people, I said, don't just get into real estate just because everybody else says, oh, there's a lot of money in it. If it's not something that you like, why are you wasting your time doing it? Right. Okay, go do something that you love. We're here. One of my mentors, Ralph Waldo Emerson, the great American, philosopher, is about 150 years ago. He said, when you are born, your vocation, your profession is been placed in your heart. So every one of us that is here on earth, we're here for a reason. There is something out there that is really our passion. Like for Bill and myself, okay, our passion is real estate. I enjoy going and doing these meetings. Every time we go into these events, whether it's at Zoom, in person, and Bill, you and I are at Lloyd's meetings like every Thursday of the year. Second Thursday.
I would miss it.
We go around, we meet people, we talk to people, and we're energetic. We put a lot of energy out. That's the enjoyment that we get out of it. If you go into these environments, guys, to networking environments, you got to get up there and get to know people. This is what it's about. That's how you do business, meeting people. Yeah, so like you said, mentorship is important, okay? And sign up for VIP programs. We'll teach you the different strategies. All you got to do is just go to Sam's Real Estate Club. It's like Sam's Club with the real estate in it. And then, check us out. You don't have to sign up immediately. You can just check us out. We've got great reviews and you can go from there.
And for those of you watching, I don't get any affiliate income. I'm not doing this because of any reason. And frankly, Sam and I have really never done business together in the sense of closing a deal. So it's not like he's giving me business. We've exchanged some leads and we've talked to different people. I do this because I've seen people and people on my team, I have a real estate team, have taken this program, learned from it, most importantly, come out with mentorship, a clear methodology, and become part of a community. I see the success they're enjoying, and I want to see that for other people as well. So, Sam, thank you very much for your time today. Thanks for all the work you do in our community. I look forward to seeing you on the second Thursday at the Lyric event, and we'll talk then. And I'll show you pictures.
So much. Thank you so much for having me.
And I'll have new pictures of my grandsons to show you then, okay?
Yes. My grandson, I don't know about that. We're going to have to compete on that.
Okay, very good. Thanks so much. And for the rest of you, this is the official podcast of the Los Angeles County Real Estate Investors Association. LAREIC.com is the website. And we have a meeting every second Thursday of the month. December 14th is the next one upcoming. It's at 6:30 for free. In the Palms area on Motor Avenue at the Iman Center. We have about 250 people there, 50 vendors like me. I'm the official podcaster there. If you're going to come up and say hi. If you don't have, you can register for free online, LAREIC.com, or reach out to me if you have my information. I'm Bill Gross. I'm at Bill Gross Probate on social media. Thank you, everybody, for being on the call today. And as always, make today your best day ever. Thanks so much.